Netflix is back with the live-action series of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I covered not only the original cartoon, I also covered season 1. I watched season 2 and I definitely want to talk about that now. Join me if you will. Hi, my name's Drew and welcome to another review video on Flying Wiener. I became a fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender about 2 years ago when, in preparation for the Netflix live action series, I, for the first time in my life, sat down and watched the whole original cartoon, all of its, I believe, if I remember correctly, 3 seasons if you're American, and I was very impressed by it, I must say. I mean, people always loved it. I knew that. It had a big following online, always has, but I was like, yeah, I mean, I knew snippets of it, never really checked out. 2 years ago I did, and I really was actually quite blown away by it. I was really impressed. I thought this is probably the best kids show I've ever seen that shows and tries to explain to kids what society is like, how people interact with each other, morals, all these kind of things. It's a kids show, but it doesn't treat kids as stupid or anything like that, and really tries to share valuable stories with them. So I was really impressed by that. I actually decided even back then already that as soon as my daughter's old enough, I would very much like to introduce her to Avatar. She's 6 years old now. I'll have to think about it again when exactly that time will come. I don't know what the recommended age for Avatar is, but once she is that old, whatever that is, I definitely want to check that out. Anyway, now I actually, in preparation for this review, I actually rewatched my review of the first series of the Netflix show. I don't usually do that, but I thought it makes a lot of sense here because I was quite honest to myself. I was like, I can't quite remember what exactly I said back then, how the first season was, because let's be honest, it takes them so long nowadays to get these consecutive series and seasons going. You really do forget in between. I mean, while I appreciate it for the quality that they deliver in terms of animation and set pieces and all these kind of things, a part of me still wishes we could go back to somehow having these shows annually. There's a thing right now about Netflix, there's a discussion about how Netflix shows, their second seasons, they have a huge drop off compared to the first ones, right? I mean, Avatar: The Last Airbender, I think it was received okay. That was kind of also my impression. I thought it was good. That's what I said at the time. I said that it fell kind of short of really reproducing what made the animated series so special. You know, they fell kind of short because it felt a bit like they're playing it safe and stuff like that. But overall, I was pleased with it. I thought it was very entertaining and I thought the quality was high. But, it's been 2 years now, and actually it feels longer than 2 years since we had the first one. So, yeah, that is kind of a bit of a shame. Netflix will have to have a look at why that is. I mean, I don't know. I'm obviously not an analyst. I don't know why that is happening. But that is something they definitely need to check out. Anyway, before I get too much into all that kind of stuff, briefly talking about the plot. Now, I will assume that you have seen the first season of Avatar: The Last Airbender on Netflix, or you've seen the animated cartoon, what have you. The second season actually focuses very, very strongly on, well, first season was water, if you remember. That's also how the animated show did it. You had one season per element, as it were, in a way. And so the Netflix show also, in its first series, focused on the water bending aspect, the water element of the 4 elements that we have. The second one now focuses on Earth, the Earth Kingdom, especially the big glorious city of Ba Sing Se, where there is no war. That meme, by the way, if you're not familiar, there's this meme. I mean, I knew about it a long time ago. There is no war in Ba Sing Se, which is quite interesting. I'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, it really put a smile on my face as well that made it into the Netflix show. So Aang, our last airbender, who by now he can airbend, he can waterbend. This series is about him now learning earthbending. So he gets an earthbending teacher. Now this is slightly spoilery, I suppose, but I mean, it's one of the main characters of the show, so you know, how spoilery can it be? But we have Toph Bei Fong. She's a blind girl. She is an earthbender, an exquisite earthbender, especially as the show progresses. She does something very unique, which I'm not going to spoil for you. She actually, I was reminded because I'd forgotten about her in a way, but as soon as she was there and everything, I must really say, the actress, her name is Miyako, who embodies her in this show, really reminded me perfectly what I loved about one of my favourite characters in the original Avatar, just her whole demeanour and how she calls Aang Twinkle Toes and all these kind of things. Just really liked her character, and she does the same here. She becomes Aang's earthbending teacher. She is also of a noble family, which in the Earth Kingdom, as you can imagine, does also kind of help. It also causes some complications for them on their way, because basically everyone knows her family, good and bad, you know. That's the one aspect. So we've got Aang learning to earthbend, and they go to Ba Sing Se, which is basically the Earth Kingdom, you know, this big glorious city. They've been walled in. They just more or less just look inward. They don't care about what's going outside, and the king is kind of like, oh, I just want to have, you know, just keep myself busy all day with gardening and all these kind of things. I don't want to really do all the politics stuff, etc., which obviously is quite insane as the king. You have to look out for your people and all these kind of things. So that's where this saying comes from, there is no war in Ba Sing Se. It's like, you know, everyone's pretending that the outside world, even though for 100 years the Fire Nation has been trying to conquer everyone, you know, they're pretending like, no, that's not a thing here, you know, it's not of our concern. And so that is what we have as the main plot driving this series. We have, like I say, Aang learning his new skills, and we're seeing them trying to convince the people and the king of Ba Sing Se that, you know, there's a lot going on out there. There's the Fire Nation, they're coming. We discover something especially that makes them particularly dangerous, and they're like, you know, we need to do something, and they're having a lot of trouble. They're going up against bureaucracy. They're going up against these people who, like I say, are just trying to pretend that it's all not real, and all these kind of things. That's the one aspect of it. So that's as much as I'll tell you really about the plot as the story itself. So there's not, and compared to the first season, there's not all this wandering about, etc. So the majority of it is there, which I find is good, because I think having the same location makes you focus more on the characters itself, which is what the series does. And that is actually one point that I really enjoyed, because in my review for the first series, I saw that one of my complaints was that they were playing a bit too safe. The original animated series had a lot of conflict going on between the characters. They were sort of questioning each other's morals, standpoints, all these kind of things. You had things like, for instance, I don't know, Sokka, where you've got the two siblings. You've got Sokka and Katara, and Sokka is constantly like, oh, you're a girl, you can't do these things. And the show, the original animated show, addresses this and shows them that it's a really stupid viewpoint to have, etc., etc. So that's why I say it's very educational as well, because these things still happen even now, so many years later, and unfortunately probably will happen a lot. Anyway, there's a lot more conflict between the characters, you know, where they question each other, where they get, you know, into heated discussions, where they don't calm down and think about things, but because they are still either kids or teenagers, whatever you want to say. But, you know, they're obviously not, they've not got the full life experience yet, so they will be brash. They will do things that seem very silly in the moment, etc. But it fits the characters really well. And it creates a lot of conflict, which is good. So I really like this aspect. They have brought that in more. So this particular criticism I had about the first series, they have definitely improved upon. That is something I really, really love. I love all the storylines. I love the exploration of the characters. We've got each and everyone's motivations. You know, Toph is obviously a new character, and there's a lot of her stuff explored. You know, how she fits into the group, how everyone reacts to her. We've also got Prince Zuko, who, if you don't remember, is a Fire Nation prince. He's been sort of exiled, he's been sent out. He has to retrieve the Avatar if he ever wants to have a chance of coming back, returning to the kingdom. And he is out and about with his uncle Iroh, and they sort of learning about the world, as it were. You know, his, sort of the curtains are drawn away from his eyes, and he sees how the world reacts not only to the Fire Nation, but, you know, what troubles they have. And learns to be a bit more human, I'll say. But there's a lot of conflict. There's also his sister out there, Azula, who is the favoured sibling, I'll call it, and she's been sent to retrieve him, right? To retrieve Prince Zuko, and that creates a lot of tension and situations because she does run into Zuko. Anyway, so that's, yes, more or less these kind of things I wanted to mention. The animation, the CGI, sorry, the CGI and all the environments, the sets, etc. are wonderful. The design work on this, just like with the first one, is absolutely outstanding. You can really see where the money goes, and probably, unfortunately, also all the time that they spend making this. But it's really absolutely stunning. So visually, I don't think you can really fault it. Yes, of course, you'll have some small sequences where they'll just have, you know, maybe a building or mountains or whatever just in there for just a few seconds or so. Obviously, that's not going to be highly detailed and have endless amounts of money poured into it. They are a bit obvious. But where it counts, the CGI is fantastic. I mean, all the bending stuff, to me, looked really great. And just these things, I don't take them for granted, because I'm always thinking, you know, 20 years ago, if you'd told me we'd have something like this just in a regular TV show, I said, that's nuts. That's usually what you have in films, costing hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, these shows by now cost hundreds of millions of dollars, but still, I really appreciate them. So that was really great. I love the characters, love all the actors. I think they're still doing a great job. I love all the interactions. I still think that Sokka's actor, Ian Owsley, looks creepily just like Jared Padalecki, you know, the supernatural, one of the supernatural brothers. It still eerily looks like he could be his kid or something. It's so funny. It's really, the face, it's uncanny. Never mind. It's a very specific thing. So I hope Netflix can figure it out. I hope, I mean, they have already said final season is coming. I do believe that they will also finish it, but I just generally feel or hope that they can figure out whatever it is that is making people drop off from a first to a second series. Because like this, I think this is solid, right? It's solid. I think it's good. I love it. I think, to be perfectly honest, that they've improved on the first series even, right? So I think this is one of the few shows where you say, right, yeah, please support it, right? And that is what I'm also telling you. Go and watch the animated one first, because it is still the best version of this story. But if animation is not your thing, or you're like, oh, I'm not going to watch cartoons, that's for kids, then this is definitely worth your time. And I think it's really, really solid, like I said. That'll be all from me today. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe. It is the best way to support this channel. Leave a comment down below about anything you want to say about Avatar, you know, whichever version of the story it is. Why you think Netflix is kind of failing at retention of viewers. I don't know. If you've got your own theories, post them down below. I'll thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one on Flying Wiener. Take care.